This is my Bug E. It's a rare street legal electric vehicle, and I'm gonna spend the next 3 months completely restoring it. And I'm sure you're wondering, why am I even doing all this? Well, half a year ago, I made a goal. I wanted to make $10,000 purely from buying junk, fixing it, and selling it for a profit. So far, this is all I've made, but that's where this thing comes in. The Bug E. It's supposed to go 50 miles an hour, have 30 miles of range, and be fully street legal. Well, apparently. But mine does none of that. Literally nothing on it works, and it doesn't even have a title. So, can I, a random kid with zero electrical experience, fix a broken 20-year-old electric car that literally doesn't work at all and still manage to make a profit? Oh, man. Well, let's find out. So yes, I have a lot of work to do, but let's go back to where everything started. So I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace for the past couple weeks, but yesterday I found this thing. It's called the Bug E. All right, let's buy this thing. We did have to drive to a U-Haul so we could get a trailer. And after the long drive, we got there, and I was very nervous.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. So we talked for a bit, and then he said this.
I mean, you get them running, they go for $2,800.
It's definitely possible he said that just to get me excited, and it kind of worked.
I mean, you can check it out.
And after looking around for a bit, I could tell it definitely needed some work. But I had one other important question.
Yeah, is it like just that, or is there a title too?
I never got a title.
And after that, I decided to go for it.
I mean, I think for me, it'd be a bit risky, but I'm willing to do the risk at, do you think you could go 400?
No, I stayed firm on it.
For 600?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I will throw the battery in if you want the battery.
And he was asking another $200 for the battery, so I had to buy it.
All right, sounds good to me. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes,
Your name?
thank you, Nowah.
Nowah. I like the name. I like it.
Thank you.
So they got it in the trailer, and I was feeling pretty happy and excited about my newest purchase.
Appreciate
Yep,
it. You guys
thank
have
you.
a great time. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys.
Have a great rest of your day. We got it. I'm sure it'll be fine on the road. Hopefully, we'll see.
We then strapped down the top because it was bouncing around a bit and continued our hour-long drive back home. And after arriving home, we carefully got it off the trailer.
Perfect.
All right, well, we got it safe and sound. I'm gonna try sitting in it for the first time. All right. What? This is so cool. It's like I'm in a fighter jet. This is easily the coolest thing I've ever bought in my life. Wow. I mean, just look at that. That is crazy. And we got this battery for free. So, you guys might be wondering, what is the plan for this? The guy I bought it from said that the guy he bought it from said everything was working and running. But here's where things get a little tricky, I guess. Down in that compartment in there used to be 4 12-volt batteries. But he gave me this single 48-volt battery instead of 4 individual ones. So I need to figure out how to wire this one battery to work with this. I also need to figure out how to put a charger on it. And then I still don't know if anything works. There's literally water in that thing. Like it's filled with water where all the electronics are. To make it easier to work on, I'm gonna take this whole body off. This thing is literally just held on with a Velcro. If I push it, it comes right off. Look at that, all the Velcro is just not good. I put this mat down to hopefully protect it. There we go. Yeah, it was a good feeling getting all this nasty Velcro off because it will be so much better once I get the new stuff on. Oh, there we go. The guy also said this is some sort of a key for something. I don't really know what it's for, but there's actually a funny story with that key thing. If you look on the side of the Bug E, it has a sticker that says revconversions.com. And when you try to go to the website, it just doesn't work. But I looked them up on YouTube, and they have videos on their channel where they show all these electric vehicles they have, like an electric Jeep before they were a thing, an old electric cool car thing, but they had no videos of the Bug E. But they did have a video where they were testing this thing they made, and the key they used to power it on and off is the exact same key that's on the Bug E. But who knows? I then got all the Velcro off the broken door. There we go. Yeah, it just doesn't quite line up right. But while looking in it, I realized I think those bolts are what hold the whole body on. And then I realized the body pivots on this metal bar. And I wanted to take it off, but I have nothing here. I have no tools. So in the meantime, I can just take off all this Velcro off this thing. Okay, there we go. Left a lot of residue on there, but I can figure out how to get that off. I then wanted to prepare the body by taking off all the wires so it could just easily be lifted off. It'd be pretty hard to forget which wire goes to which because there's only so many wires, so I'll just unplug them and I'm sure I'll remember.
There's one light. There's the other.
But all my confidence about remembering went away after seeing this.
I'm gonna forget these really easy if I take these apart. Well, I'm an idiot. All of the connectors here, they're all labeled and all have numbers, and I can just unplug them and this thing will be ready to be taken off. I don't know what I was thinking. And there we go, as easy as that. Today is going to be a very busy day. My uncle, who's an electrical engineer, is gonna come help me take a look at this and try to figure out all the electronics. But I just spent like $100 on Amazon on stuff. So before he comes over, I gotta get it ready and make it as easy as possible for us to work on it, which means taking this whole body off.
I then tested it to make sure I bought enough Velcro.
Yeah, we're good, we are good.
Then I decided
I'm gonna start by getting everything on the inside ready for paint.
I thought since I'm taking the body off, it'd be the perfect opportunity to repaint the interior.
I have to use a butter knife to take this off.
Which actually ended up working way better than I expected.
There we go.
And I went ahead and masked all the rest off.
I'm just realizing now it would have been way easier to just take this bulb out and then I wouldn't have had to put this plastic around it. Whatever. Now the rest of this metal is gonna look way better in black, in my opinion. Now for these wires.
Listen, I know this masking doesn't look great, but it ends up working very well.
You know what, it's not perfect, but it should definitely work. Now it's all those wires right there. Gotta get all those covered.
But while doing this, I realized,
yeah, it's gonna be much easier to do all this once it's upside down, I think. In my opinion, these 3 stickers need to go. They're like still peeling. There we go. Guess I do need to mask this as well.
I only masked this part of the switch because the other part was rusty and I wanted it to be painted black anyways.
It says on and off, so I don't really know what that's for. I'm only gonna be painting up to this line here anyways, so I don't need to like mask any of these off.
I then took the old trim off so I could eventually put on some new trim I bought.
Oh yeah, that was super easy. So the new trim stuff I got, but I'm a little worried I didn't get enough.
And after checking, it was obvious.
Oh yeah, this will be plenty. Never mind, I'm good. It's 2 layers of that adhesive stuff on the inside, so that should be able to stick really well. Got this $15 toolkit set. Oh, it's actually, wow, not bad. Hopefully it has everything I need.
So I checked the bolts and...
oh yeah, there we go. So let's get these bolts out.
But while getting them out, I quickly realized,
well, there must be a nut on the other side that I don't see. Oh yeah, there's a nut back there. Somehow I need to hold a nut that's way back there while also unbolt it from in here. Somehow, like stretched, so. Oh yeah, let's go. There's the bolt, I did it. Oh, this one's a lot tougher. I got it though, let's go. Come on, there we go.
But I couldn't do the other side by myself because the door was in the way, so I had to get my brother to come help me. So a lot of you guys have asked me, where do I find all these deals? And you may remember in my last video, the second a good deal comes up, it seems like it's sold instantly. So I've just really been struggling to find my next item. I don't know what to do. And honestly, I am tired of spending hours every day looking on Facebook Marketplace and finding nothing. Oh, well, I've got the perfect solution for you. So what's this? That is Marketplace Monitor. It finds all the good deals for you. What? No way, I just found this lawnmower for 20 bucks. But won't other people find it before me? Actually, it alerts you the second a deal shows up, so you can get it before anybody else does. Wow, that is crazy. I've been using it for the past couple of weeks and I really enjoy it. You can set filters for price, location, and keywords. And it even gets rid of all the fake listings so you don't scroll through stuff you don't want. Usually I'd have to spend hours every day looking for my next flip, but not with Marketplace Monitor. It's literally finding me deals while I'm working on it. That is insane. If you guys want to start making deals in your sleep, click the link in the description and start using Marketplace Monitor today. And after way too long, me and my brother finally got the bolts off.
Oh, finally. Okay. Okay, just wait. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, sweet. Finally, man.
My uncle tested the battery and it still held a little charge. And we worked on it for another hour because we were
mostly just trying to figure out what brands are these things, because when you buy this kit, it doesn't come with the electronics, so you just put in whatever you want. So we're trying to figure out what all these brands are so we know which wires go where. It's so hard to see them because of all the stuff in the way.
So we spent the next 20 minutes figuring out all the brands and which wires go where. And
me and my uncle figured out everything we need to get wired. He brought the battery back to his house to charge it all the way, but it is still disgusting in there, and I don't want to put the battery in there if it's all wet and nasty. So I need to clean that all out first. Clean most of this, honestly, and just get it looking a lot better. Oh, it's so nasty.
Yeah, it was disgusting, but I had to get it all out so the battery could be safe.
So much better already. Now all the junky water is out of there. Got some Clorox wipes, some other cleaning stuff. Let's make this look good.
Now, I know I should be pressure washing this, but I don't have my pressure washer with me. But this is just a temporary clean. I'll do a full deep clean in the future and repaint all the rusty metal and make it look brand new. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. If you're enjoying it, could I please ask you to subscribe? It's free and it really helps me out. I then tried using Goof Off to clean the battery tray, but it didn't really help that much.
Now that that's clean, I need to get this sticky residue that's all over this. I need to get that off and put Velcro on top of it. So I'm gonna get to work on that.
So I put more Goof Off on it and let it sit. And I tried using a knife to get it off, but
no, that's just scratching it.
And I tried just using my fingers and I realized
that's working. It's gonna take a while, but I'll get it. Takes forever, but if I get some music, this will be no problem.
This part was definitely a lot of work. It took me an hour and a half, but it was necessary so that the Velcro would have a good surface to stick to.
All right, there we go. That is all of it.
And while spraying it down, I said this,
but my battery's about to die.
Yeah, it died just then. I don't know how I predicted it that well. So I carefully put on all the Velcro and the camera died again. The next day, me and my brother moved the body to the back so I could paint it. Alright, so now that this thing is outside, I'm gonna wipe it down with a little bit of water, sand the parts that need to be primed, then prime, then paint. We should be good. So I gave it a nice quick wipe down. And the reason I'm tipping it over is to drain the water from the front compartment.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I need to paint the outside. I think it's the gel coat stuff, and it looks pretty good. Gotta figure out how to tip this thing upside down.
I made sure to do this very carefully so I didn't wreck the mirrors.
It's not too bad.
But while looking at it, I noticed
it's like painted down there, but they like forgot to do it up there, which is kind of funny. I'm just gonna do a nice light sand to make the primer stick a little bit better.
Now, I'm not sanding it too crazy here because the surface was pretty much rough enough for paint already.
All right, I sanded that pretty good. Now I just gotta mask everything.
I tried my best to make sure the tape was sealed good so no paint could get through.
Oh, finally, that's one little part done.
Yeah, this took a while, and then something unexpected happened.
Oh no, the sprinklers just started going. That's really annoying. Everything is getting wet. Okay, I think my camera's okay. That got all wet. Oh man, everything is just wet. Everything survived, but I think all my masking work is fine. Like, I don't think it wrecked it or anything.
So I did my best to wipe everything down. But it's actually really cool. You can see the sun drying it here. But after letting it dry out, I continued masking.
Now I need to make sure I get this taped off really good because this is going to be a little tricky.
I was mostly nervous about the gaps in the door, but I did my best to tape it.
All right, it is time to start painting. I wouldn't say I'm super confident in my masking abilities. Let's start with some primer.
So I tested it out on the plastic.
Alrighty, let's give this a shot.
I tried getting every angle and corner I could, but obviously it made the paint a little bit uneven.
All right, is it the most even paint in the world? No, but it's the interior, so I'm not too worried about that. I'll let this dry for a little bit, and then we can do the black.
This part was very satisfying, and I still tried my best to do a nice, level, and even coat. But of course, it was pretty tough to do that with all the angles and crevices there were. But even with all that, I think I still did a pretty good job.
Gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna sand a little part that didn't turn out so good and repaint that.
So I sanded a little part, but you can't really see because I'm in the way, and I gave it a nice little coat, and it was done.
All right, everything is mostly dry, so now it's time for the scary part, seeing if I got paint all over it. Looks good there. Oh yeah, that's great. It's like a perfect line there. Yeah, that turned out great. I'm so glad it all worked. I was very worried that it would not. Definitely nervous for this area. That's great.
I then flipped it over so I could get to all the wires.
That got disgusting, but that's fine. I do think this is the one spot where I might have messed up a bit.
Yeah, I was nervous, but it honestly looked pretty good.
Yeah, that looks like just fine to me.
Then I got all the tape and plastic off of all the wires.
go. I did end up breaking the cover on this. It was kind of already broken anyway, so I gotta find a new cover piece. I'm very happy with how everything turned out. It's not perfect, but it's so much better than it was before, and it just feels better. It feels cleaner and nicer. I like it. Now I just gotta bring it back to the garage.
It's actually quite a bit lighter than it looks.
All right, it's looking good, but I gotta give it a good clean to get it ready, and I'll put the Velcro and stuff on it.
So I cleaned it as good as I could with the goof off stuff I had and applied all the Velcro, which I had to cut when it curved too much.
Now this stuff should really help make this look a lot better.
I honestly think this was the easiest and most impactful thing I've done, but it just looks so good.
This trim looks really good, and the only reason I'm not doing it down here is because it gets too thick, and so the trim doesn't fit over it. But besides that, it looks real nice, I think.
So I then cleaned both of these mirrors because they were disgusting. And I tried putting Velcro around the door, but it didn't really stick that well. And I noticed this faded piece of plastic, so I took it off.
Okay, got that. Then the fan.
And after that, my uncle came over with the charged battery and we hooked everything up. So I'm sure you guys are wondering, what is the wiring situation? It's a bit more simple and complicated at the same time. This wire we obviously knew goes to the motor, but these two go to different like speed controllers and stuff, and we weren't sure how much they could take, but it turns out they can take the full 48 volts. And then we put all the ground wires into this thing, which then goes up there, because if you remember, I don't have the key. So we basically made it to where this is the new key, for now, temporarily. And to bypass the original key, we just put the two wires together. I will be replacing that key and making it like an actual key, because this one is really just supposed to be the emergency shutoff, and the battery has to be in this strange orientation because otherwise it hits that converter box up there or whatever that is. But for now it works and it should be good. So we double checked all the wires and I tested the horn.
Oh, wow, that's really loud.
And then it was finally time to see if the motor would work.
Oh, this thing's probably the wrong way.
And after flipping the motor to the correct direction, I tried it again.
Yeah, there it goes.
And the fact that it was working was such a relief.
I guess it works.
So we put the battery inside it and it seemed to fit. So we opened up the garage door and I went for it.
Brakes work. I'm barely touching the throttle. This thing is so sweet though. This is so cool.
I also let my brother try it out.
Oh, be careful, Grant. There he goes.
But yeah, this thing was insane.
So fast, dude. This is crazy. This thing is so much fun to drive. I kind of don't want to sell this thing. Boom, just like that. Key off. Honestly, this thing is so much fun. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix it, sell it. It's just, I'm getting a little attached to it. I'm very happy this thing works, but I would like to address some stuff. This Velcro is not the best. If you look here, the line just is not good. It just looks bad. But also when I take it off, this Velcro, it will not stick to this. It just falls off. So not only does it look bad, but it also doesn't even perform that well. And I am gonna try to polish this to sort of restore it. And I can't have the Velcro on the bottom when I polish it. So I need to take it off anyways. As you can see, we are missing Velcro all around here. I guess there's this little piece. It just doesn't stick.
And when I took the Velcro off, it left behind a really annoying residue. But honestly, I was mostly annoyed I had to take it all off because I spent so long putting it on.
I'm just gonna cover it with this goof off stuff again and just let it sit. While I let that soak in, I'm gonna try to get all these stickers off because I just don't think they look that good.
Yeah, I didn't really want some random company stickers on it. And after getting it off, I got to work getting off all the residue the Velcro left behind. I also took a quick break to get the residue left from the stickers off and got back to work. Next time I'll use some isopropyl alcohol to really clean the surface before I put the Velcro on. That way it should stick way better. It was a little sad reversing some of the work we did, but overall it was a huge win. We got it working and it looks way better. Huge thanks to my uncle and my dad. I couldn't have done any of this without them. Now that the body's looking good, it's time to focus more on the frame because it's looking pretty rough. This thing needs some attention. It's rusty, paint is really bad, it's very, very dirty. So this video will have two phases. The first one is cosmetics. Basically, I'll make everything on the outside look really nice, whether that's by painting, polishing, or swapping out new parts. Now for the last bolt. The second phase, however, will be electrical. I'll basically be modernizing it by giving it a bunch of cool features. Okay. Oh yeah, nice and easy. I'm glad I did that because this is absolutely filthy. I then put all the bolts on so I wouldn't forget them. All right, now I won't forget all this. I'm not a huge fan of this fan, so I bought another one for 15 bucks. Now, I know I'm only in the cosmetic phase, and this is electrical, but right now I'm only taking the fan out, so I can eventually repaint the dash. I then test fitted the new fan to make sure I bought the right one. Oh yeah, that is perfect. But I have a really cool plan with the wires from the old fan, so I taped it up to hopefully preserve them. Now these wires are loose and it's not putting any strain on them, so that's good. I also temporarily put some new trim around where the new fan would be, and it looked really good. Turns out this knob right here you can adjust. So I adjusted it and it's way better. It actually closes and it actually uncloses, or opens, I guess. But because there was still such a big gap, I decided I would eventually need to paint it white to make it disappear. Hey, I'm just gonna give this a nice quick clean before we polish it, just so all the dirt is off. Even though it's under the seat, I think it's important to clean everything. Still dirty, but way better. Then me and my dad took out the battery, so it would be safe to clean and paint everything. Now I'm just gonna sand all this to be ready for paint. Now, this footage is very sped up, but I spent a while trying to get it as smooth as possible because I really want this paint to look good and also last a long time. And sanding it should create a good base for the paint to stick to. I need to wash my hands. I'm also sanding these pieces of wood that go under the seat because they're gonna look way better painted. You can see over time the wood actually curved, it looks like. I do think I'm gonna also end up repainting these brackets too because they're just all rusty and nasty. So let's get those out. Now these will definitely look better, but hopefully they don't get too scratched when I put them back in the seat. Now before I paint any of this, I do need to wash it. But before I wash it, I want to prepare the body to get polished. So I started by taking off the old lights, which I do plan to replace. Once I cut this, there's pretty much no going back. Gotta get new lights. And there's the plug. And they left behind this residue, so I got it off. Someone must have cracked the fiberglass and they're trying to drill that hole. That's too bad. But these lights actually come off pretty easily. Only 2 screws. And there's the other light. And again, I got off all the nasty residue that the light left behind. Much better. Now I'm gonna put the cover back on this. There we go, that looks pretty good. I also forgot to take this tape off. And then I noticed, oh, there's a dead bee in there. Dude, that freaked me out. Look at that. Looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna mask off any part I see that could get in the way that I don't want to get hit with the polisher thing. So it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but this paint is just awful. So I pretty much have to polish it. And that's gonna be kind of difficult because I've literally never polished anything before. So it's gonna be a learning experience for sure. I know this might be a little bit overkill, but I just really don't want to get the stuff on these. Apparently it's really hard to get off. That's why I'm masking these things so crazy, and honestly, I kind of enjoy it. I like to build model cars, so it's something I've gotten used to, except now I'm doing it on an actual car. Kind of. It depends on if you call this a car. That's pretty much it. It's kind of just ready to be polished now. Almost forgot about this thing. I do need to tape that too. And after taping it off, I noticed the sticker. So I took it off and realized, wow, you can see that's the color the paint should be, and this is the color the paint is. That is insane. All right, so everything's pretty much prepped and ready. Tomorrow, I'll repaint this, polish this. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I also forgot I wanted to paint the motor cover, so I sanded it down and masked off the fake leather part of it. All right, so it is the next day, and I forgot to prepare this part of the frame for paint, but I ordered this $100 Apple CarPlay thingy, and I think this is gonna really make this thing insane. So I test fitted it on the dash, and it looked perfect. I already tested this thing this morning, and it was pretty cool. It also comes with this reverse camera, which I should be able to mount under the taillight. But before I do any of that fun stuff, I've got to get sanding this metal. So I got to work, sanding it as smooth as possible. And I taped the brake line so I wouldn't wreck it, and I sanded the outside smooth as well. Then I found something concerning.
I was just looking under the seat cover and look what I found in here. This nasty wire, look at that. That is disgusting. It was literally just sitting right back there. That's crazy.
So obviously I took it out, and I also tightened up the seat cover.
Yeah, this is not a great sign. I don't know if that means there are rats in here. So hopefully all the lights and blinkers and everything are okay.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyways, me and my dad started cleaning it. And I bought this little brush thing, and it made it so much easier. It really got into all the little cracks and crevices I could not get to before. And we are cleaning it pretty good here, but it's mostly because I'll have a good place to paint on, and I'll probably do another deep clean after everything's done. Also, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you. All right, so everything is cleaned, looks great. So while that's drying, the paint on this body is so bad. It looks awful. So I've got this stuff. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. I put that piece of tape there to see if the polishing was actually doing anything, and mostly because I see all the cool YouTubers doing that. All right, let's see the difference. Oh, wow. Man, this side looks so much better. That is insane. Don't worry, I did polish the rest of the fender, and then I taped the front just for fun. Let's see if there's a difference. I mean, it's a little bit harder to tell. You can pretty much see the line there, the difference. I was expecting polishing by hand not to work really well. I thought you kind of need one of the electric polishers, but at the time I just didn't have one. And honestly, it looked pretty good. Of course, having an electric polisher would make it look like a million times better, and it wouldn't take quite so long. I spent like over 3 hours polishing this, but it looked so much better. It was totally worth it. But now that I'm done with this, I've got to do the other part. But man, it looks so much better. Wow, that's amazing. I'm sure you're bored of seeing me do this, so I'll speed this up. So I'm sure some of you are wondering, why do I want a Porsche Boxster? It is like the most common and the most boring Porsche ever made. And that is true, but honestly, I just love how they look. And for $10,000, I personally just couldn't find a car I liked more. All right, so these things are looking really good, but now I've got to paint this frame, so I've got a lot of masking to do. So I laid down this plastic stuff to hopefully protect the driveway. All right, let's see if this messes it up. It might wreck everything. I thought maybe rolling it on the plastic would tear it up, but it was fine. But the masking itself was pretty simple. I only masked off the 2 front parts of the frame because I didn't have anything to keep the plastic guard on the rear up. This is all the tape I have left, just a tiny bit. I am out of tape, and there's still some wires that need to be covered. A lot of you guys told me to use tinfoil for the wires, and I don't have any. I do have this plastic wrap, so I think it should work pretty close to as well. We'll see. Thank you so much to those who told me this trick. It actually ended up saving me here. Okay, so I barely had enough tape for this, but I think it should work. So I painted all the front metal components, and they were looking so much better than before. They used to be all rusty and nasty, but now they looked fresh and new. I also painted all these little things like the mud flap, motor cover, and the rods for the seat. Started looking so much better, but I'm gonna let it dry and then give it a second coat. All right, so I did give this thing a couple more coats, but it's dry. Now it's time for the nerve-wracking part of seeing if paint got anywhere. This thing turned out pretty nice, and these things will look so much better now that they're not rusty. When taking the plastic off, I made sure it wasn't attached to the new paint, so I didn't accidentally rip it off with the plastic. Wow, that looks so good. Yeah, it was looking a million times better. You can see right there's a bit of paint, but I'll be able to take that off. Then I finally got the last of the plastic off. All right, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. It looks so much better. So let's bring this thing inside. It felt good to have some of the work pay off, but as you'll see later in this video, the painting doesn't always go this well. Finally done with that part. We still have a lot more to paint. Like I said, I am so happy with this. It just looks so good and fresh. Oh, but I still have this bar here to paint. I then wiped off some paint that got messed up. Wow, it's just gone. That is insane. This stuff works well. So I know I did just polish this whole thing by hand, but I just got this electric polishing thing. So I'm gonna give this thing one more polish. I didn't give it too deep of a polish because I had already done 3 hours by hand, but this tool will be very useful later. Well, it ran out of batteries, so I'm gonna let it charge. But in the meantime, a lot of stuff showed up. So right now there's this battery monitor, but it's really old and nasty looking. So I got this new electric one that should look way better. And the battery I'm using is a 48 volt, 12 cell battery. So I had to get a really specific charger. And I was a little worried it wouldn't show up, but it was the only one I could find, and it did show up. It actually looks pretty decent. And I also ordered this off Amazon. The charger plugs in just like that. These 2 wires will be connected to the battery, and this should be a pretty good way to charge the battery. All right, so now that this thing is polished and looking really good, I'm gonna put on this ceramic coat stuff. This stuff was pretty easy to apply. You just polish it on and then wipe it off. When I polish the canopy part, this will be really nice, but I think for applying this stuff, it's gonna be easier to do it by hand. It was just a little hard to control with the power polisher, so switching to just the polishing pad was easier, and probably faster. So this part right here is not ceramic coated. Let's see what it looks like when water goes down it. Okay, it goes down, but then you can see through there, it's still staying. And this part is ceramic coated, so let's see what it's like with that. Oh wow. So you can see there's still a couple drops of water, but honestly, way less. That's actually pretty cool. So I worked on polishing the rest of it, and man, it looked so nice and shiny. Plus, it protected the paint. Finally done with all that. It looks really good. I'm really happy with how everything's turned out. But now it's time to finish painting stuff. So everything down here looks great, except you can see how bad this looks here in the light. So I'm just gonna sand down this top part and repaint just this top part right here. The sides honestly looked great. I just was not happy with how rough the top still looked, especially since it's the first thing you see when you get in and out of it. My camera died, but now it's time to mask everything. I was considering painting the gray wheels another color, like maybe black or chrome could look nice. But after the wash I did earlier, they honestly look just fine. I also decided to paint the battery tray black. It looked okay before, but since I was already painting the frame, I thought it would be worth it. And I am pretty glad I did. I think it ended up making it look way more complete. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, maybe do a couple more coats, then tomorrow we can get to the back. So I'm leaving this overnight, so hopefully no one steals it. That would be really bad. See ya in the morning. Okay, it's the next day, and yeah, someone stole it. Just kidding, I got too nervous, so I put it in the garage for the night, but we still have more to paint, so let's go set this up. Yeah, sorry, that was a bad joke. But anyways, I reused some of the plastic from before on the ground. That way I didn't waste a ton of it. But I found a piece of wood to prop the back of the shell up, so I could properly paint all of it. Then I propped the body up and sanded the underside. It looked okay before, but it had some pretty decent scratches. And I had extra paint anyways, so I thought, why not? So I masked the top of it, gave the frame another coat of paint, and continued to mask and sand all the sides. But as you can see, it is very windy out. So when I painted it, I had to get really close, which caused drips in the paint. Then me and my dad worked on polishing the canopy with a headlight cleaning polish, which actually worked great. All right, so I've let it dry and it doesn't look great. There is dribbles everywhere from the paint. And the main reason is because it was really windy out. So I'm just gonna do a quick little final coat and make it look good. So I'm just gonna give all the bad spots of paint just a light sand and then I'll do a final coat. And here's where I made my second mistake. I painted it when it was cold out. So the paint did not turn out good at all. You can see it's like doing all this. So I don't know if it's too cold or if I just didn't wipe it off good enough, but yeah, that's not good. Ah, man, that's too bad. Well, today has pretty much been a massive failure. The paint looks even worse now. But I feel like I've learned a lot about spray painting. Don't paint in the wind. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but I didn't realize that. And do not paint at night because it does that weird thing and it looks awful. We made a little bit of progress today, but that's what the next days are for. All right, let's sand this one final time. I was honestly tired of repainting this thing, but it had to be done. It's like the very front of it. So I picked a way better time to paint. Hopefully it wouldn't crack. All right, this better work. I'm tired of this.
Looks a little weird, but not too bad so far.
Then I sanded the rear part of the frame because the paint was also drippy, and gave the front another coat.
You know what? It's not perfect, but that'll work. Looks way better.
All right, I've let it dry, but now it's time for the scary part of seeing if we got any paint all over this thing. I actually wasn't too worried because if there was paint on it, I could easily wipe it off because of the ceramic coat.
I'm really glad I decided to paint under here too, because it just looks complete. It just looks good. I'm really happy with this.
I did have to take all the masking stuff off the back so I could roll it down, and the back brake still doesn't work half the time, so I had to use a rock to keep it from rolling. Then I remasked the back one final time and gave it a coat of paint.
I also want to repaint this white because it just looks really bad.
I've tried fixing the door, but it's just slightly warped, so the gap is there, but hopefully painting it white should make it less noticeable. Then I got all the tape off of the motor mount and screwed it on.
This thing's really starting to look good. Like, it looks clean, looks nice, there's no more rust. I'm really happy with how it's went so far.
So I cleaned up my workspace a little bit, and then me and my dad worked on getting the old battery indicator thing off. And while we were testing where to put the screen, we realized it would look way better with the mount it came with.
Yeah, that probably would look better.
So we put the mounting piece on and masked the whole dash so we could sand it. Then after sanding it, I worked on masking the body so we could paint it. And while I was doing that, my dad was polishing the canopy. And finally, we gave it one nice coat of paint.
I let this thing dry overnight and it looks great. But now I've got to paint this door.
So I moved the body outside with my brother and worked on masking the front door as best as I could. But it was kind of a hard thing to mask. So I started with just the outer part of the door and I painted it black.
And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I bought this $15 speedometer thing for a bike. So I'm gonna see if I can get this to work on here, because that'd be pretty sweet.
So I followed the instructions and it was pretty simple. I put this little magnet on the sprocket, as you can see here, and put this sensor thing right next to it. That way, when the wheel moves around, the magnet passes the sensor and it will know how fast it's going. Then I masked the inside of the door opening and then painted it white.
All right, so everything is dry. Let's see if I messed up any of the paint. And I think painting this white really helped make it look not as bad.
I then got off any paint that was on the body and took the masking off the dash.
That is gonna be so cool.
And I attached the speedometer screen to the handlebars.
Oh, that looks so good on there.
So you might remember, I do not have the key for this. So I bought this new replacement one.
Yeah, this will be so much better.
So I wiped off all the old residue left from the previous key, but the washer looked disgusting. So I sanded it down as best as I could.
It's not perfect, but it is so much better.
Then I put the new key on.
There we go. Now it actually has a key.
And after getting it adjusted to the right position, I took the wires off the old key, but when I tried putting them on the new one, they would not fit. But before I did that, me and my dad figured out the best spot for the battery and which wires would go where. So we took it out and drilled holes for these hoop things that we bought. So we put them in and tightened them down. And we put the battery back in and used a tight rubber strap thing and connected it to the hoops to secure the battery. Then I drilled out the wires for the key so they would fit and attached them to the key. Then me and my dad drilled out new holes for the new lights I bought, and then I put the new brackets and lights in.
Dude, that looks good. This looks really good. I'm really happy with how it looks. Everything looks clean, nice.
Then I removed all the old rubber strips from the sides and put new rubber on all the spots that needed it. And then I put some extra rubber trim I had around the hole where the fan goes and installed the fan. And don't get me wrong, it was looking great, but it took forever because of how long the bolts were. Then I polished the canopy again, but my polisher only had enough battery to polish the front half. But as you can see here, it made a pretty big difference. Then I test fitted the screen.
That is so cool. Doesn't sound too bad.
I pretty much have all the cosmetic stuff done, so me and my brother put the body on, which was actually very difficult. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to take apart the battery tray to get to the bolts, but it was riveted on, and I didn't want to drill through the rivets and have to put new ones in, so I had to squeeze my hand in to get the bolts on, which was annoying, but it did work. I basically had to fit my fingers over this tiny little gap here, as you can see right there. With my fingers, I had to screw that tiny little bolt in. This ended up taking about an hour, but eventually...
Okay, I have one bolt left, and then we have to tighten everything down. So close. It's taking forever.
And finally, we tightened everything down, and it was on.
All right, it is on, and it looks so cool. I'm really happy with how it looks.
I just got another upgrade, some handlebar-like grips. These actually made the handlebars look so much better. Plus, they were way more comfortable.
I just set the window and the seat on just like loosely, and look at how good this thing looks. It looks unbelievable. I can't believe how good this thing looks. But there is still so much more to do. I am gonna need to transport this thing, and I only have a tiny bit of Velcro left. So I'm just gonna put some temporary Velcro on. It'll be enough for now, but in the future I will put enough on so it's like safe. I know a lot of you gave some really good ideas to secure this down instead of using Velcro, but it came stock with the Velcro, so I decided to just keep it original for now. It's crazy, but that little bit of Velcro, this thing is not coming off. It is solid on there, just with that tiny bit. This thing looks pretty bad.
So I started out by using some rubber trim that I had left over. It was a little hard to get on, but it actually ended up looking pretty good.
All right, let's see if it'll fit. Oh yeah, it fits pretty good. And that looks so much better.
And you might remember I installed this speedometer thingy, but I haven't measured the wheel to calculate how fast it was going yet. So I basically just need to measure out how far it takes for one full rotation and then put it into the speedometer thingy and it should be
done. There we go. It should be all calibrated now.
Then I took off the plexiglass canopy because I wanted to polish it.
This thing is gonna make polishing really easy, and it's corded.
So I started by wiping it down, just to make sure there was nothing on it that would scratch it when I polish it. And I use this Plastic X headlight restorer because it apparently works really well in plexiglass. But I only spent about an hour polishing the inside because it wasn't too scratched, and it was already looking way better than it did before.
All right, the inside is done.
Then I wiped down the front dash because it's hard to get to when the canopy is on. Speaking of the canopy, I put it on to make it easier to polish. And I wiped it down good and got to work polishing it. But because the outside was so scratched up, I did one polish layer and then wiped it off and did a second layer, which seemed to really get the scratches out. And so I basically repeated that throughout the whole canopy, which was taking a while, but it was working very, very well. It did leave behind some like weird white specks all over it, but I wasn't too worried because I was pretty sure I could just wipe it off when I was done polishing. So I kept going, but I probably spent about 5 hours just doing the outside. It was actually pretty fun. It wasn't too much work, and I just listened to music the whole time, so I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Okay, it is looking really good. I'm really happy with how that turned out. But that took way too long. It took like 5 hours.
It was looking really great, but it still had those white specks all over it, so I wiped it down with a wet cloth.
I'm just gonna try some of this ceramic coat stuff, see if it does anything. Because after washing it, it doesn't look as good anymore, so I don't know.
So I put it on a small part just to be safe.
I actually think that really helped. No way.
So I decided to put it all over the outside, and I flipped it over and also put it all on the inside. It was probably kind of hard to tell on camera, but after wiping it down with that wet cloth earlier, it did look pretty bad. So this was a huge improvement. It only took about half an hour.
Okay, so it is looking so much better. I'm really happy with how it looks. But I don't love how you can see all the Velcro on the sides. I think it just looks really bad. So I bought this trim tape stuff for like a car. So hopefully I can put this over this and make it look really good. It's definitely gonna be tough though to get it around this curve.
But I did have a solution. I used this heat gun thing and it really helped. But I was still getting bubbles in it, so I took it off and tried again.
I heated it up too much and now it's all warped. Man, this is tough.
Yeah, it was a bit more tricky than I expected.
I keep getting bubbles in it. It's so annoying.
So I tried again and it was looking much better, but still not quite good enough.
Man, I don't know.
I was starting to not have enough material left to do the whole canopy, but luckily it was looking good enough for me, so I went with it and went across the whole side and all the way to the back. But it was too sharp of an angle, so I just cut it.
I cannot mess this up because I only have enough to do this one final side.
So I carefully put it on, but I was actually starting to get the hang of it, and it went a lot faster and looked a lot better. And I brought it around to the back and tried to line it up as best I could, and I cut it so it didn't look too weird.
I only had a tiny bit left.
Then I gave it one final wipe down to get any small plastic pieces off.
This thing is looking looking so much better now. Now I want to fix these mirrors because they're really floppy. So I started by unscrewing the top screw, but there was a bolt in the way, so I used a cloth to be careful not to scratch the plexiglass, and did the same thing to the other side. But the bottom screw was harder because the nut was inside the bug E. So I had to wrap my arms around it, but I did eventually get it off. If you look here, I'm pretty sure I just need to tighten up that screw and it should be way better. So I tightened them both down as best I could without wrecking the plastic. Yeah, that's solid. It doesn't move now. And then I tried to polish it because it was still a little dirty. Yeah, that looks so much better. So I polished the other mirror and then started putting them back on, but there was one problem. The bottom screw on the left mirror was too small, so it would just rotate back and forth and it was not solid. The plastic must have broke where it was supposed to catch, so I screwed in the other screws and then put the other mirror back in. But the plastic on that one wasn't broken, so it stayed solid. Awesome, there we go. And then I went in and got them both perfectly lined up. To fix this hole here, I'm gonna put these caps in it, but they don't quite fit, and these are the smallest ones I have, so I gotta drill it out a little bit. So I put some tape over it so I didn't crack the fiberglass and started with a smaller drill bit, but it didn't fit, so I got a little bit bigger of one and it was perfect. There we go. And then I did the exact same thing to the other side. Oh, sweet. All right, everything on here is looking so much better. And as I said, it's not perfect up here, but it is so much better. This washer should hopefully keep it in. So I put the washer on the broken part and it seemed to keep it in really good. Oh yeah, that is solid. Then I adjusted both of them again to get the perfect viewing angle. And then I took the canopy off because I didn't want to scratch it, and it made it way easier to work on the electronics. I've only done wiring stuff once before on my lawnmower, and it was really simple, so I wanted to watch my dad to completely understand how to do it the correct way. So we put the screen on, drilled a hole for the wire, and then ran it through and hooked it all up. But we weren't just hooking up the screen. We also hooked up the fan, which were really the only two things I was changing on the dash, besides the battery voltage monitor. The old one looked pretty bad in my opinion, so I got this new one with the screen. So while my dad was working on wiring up the electronics, I made a template for it out of tape and then put it in a good spot where I liked it, and then cut the hole for it. We made sure to blow all the fiberglass dust away because it's really hard to get out, but the battery monitor didn't quite fit, so I had to drill it out a little bit more. But then it fit, so we put it in and basically just connected the old wires from the old battery monitor into this new one. And then we ran into a problem. All right, we're a little stuck. There's just this random extra wire here, and this converter box is not getting any power. So nothing up front except for the battery monitor is working because that's wired directly to the battery. So we're just trying to figure out what wire is missing to power everything. And then literally while I was just looking at it for a couple of seconds, I figured something out. Oh, I figured it out. I literally just figured it out. I'm a genius. How did I just figure this out? This thing here has 3 wires going into it, but only 2 are coming out. That's what this extra wire is. This extra wire is supposed to go up into that. It must have just fallen out. So we temporarily connected it and tried turning on the screen when we ran into another huge problem. Hopefully it's not like fried. All right, so this thing will just not turn on. So I'm gonna test to see if I fried it or not and see if it still works. So I tried turning it on with a couple different wires and power banks, but it would just not turn on. Okay, this is the last resort. This is the most powerful charger I own. So I tried turning it on and, oh man, it's just not working. I even tried taking it apart, but I didn't want to wreck it further, so I decided not to. So yeah, I've done some more research and this screen is fried. If you look here, this thing had all like the protection stuff in it and I cut it off. So I ordered a new one and I do have a plan to make it safe. But in the meantime, I got some more Velcro so I can finally put it around and get the top on. So I put the canopy on to see where the Velcro needed to be. And just need to remember there's a little gap here so I can't have the Velcro all the way down. So I took it back off so I could use this degreaser stuff and I sprayed it all around the edge where the Velcro would be. So it had a really good place to stick to. So hopefully this time the Velcro won't fall off like before. Looks pretty good. It looked good except for the back because you could see pretty clearly where the Velcro ended. So I trimmed it a bit and then added the Velcro on the other side. Well, it looks really good on here. You can't see the Velcro like you could before. But now for the more important part. Will it stay on? Oh yeah. I'm lifting on the plexiglass right now and it's not even, it's lifting the whole body. It looks so good too with the screen. I've never seen it with the screen in. That looks so awesome. Some of the paint on the interior here got a little messed up, so I just want to touch it up a little bit. So I just taped off the edges that were white and some of the other parts that I didn't want to get painted black. But I didn't worry too much about the rest of the inside because it was already black anyways. And I gave it just a quick coat and let it dry overnight, and it looked great. Looks way better. I also bought a new screen, and I got this cigarette lighter port, so I should just be able to plug this in and it won't fry the screen this time. But this thing requires like 12 volts of power, so I'm not gonna be able to splice it from the fan. Probably just gonna have to splice it in down here somewhere where there are thicker wires.
So me and my dad brought the wire all the way through the buggy to where the 12 volt converter box was. And we connected it to the extra wires and also fixed the wire that got pulled out. And then we also hooked up both the headlights, and I tried turning on the screen, and
Yep, there we go. Working screen.
but it wasn't just the screen that was working.
Fan works. Sweet, so everything besides the blinkers, pretty much.
So we took a look at them, and it was actually super simple. One of the bulbs had just come loose.
Oh, it's working.
But I also bought some new bulbs because it was a little slow, and somehow putting in new light bulbs made it way faster and a more normal blinking speed. But I had to take the screen out and drill a larger hole because this time the wire was a bit thicker because I didn't cut the end off. And then I blew all the extra fiberglass off, ran the wire through, and put it on. And then I made sure all the wires looked good and were out of the way. But don't worry, later in the video I'll make it look really good.
This is so cool. Watch, when I turn the key, everything turns on. That's so awesome. Ooh, and it's got a ringtone too. Brake light works, headlights work, and the blinkers work. So yeah, we are so close. Every electrical thing is like done and like figured out. Everything works. It just looks like a mess in there. So just gotta clean it up, make it look really nice.
So I took it for a quick test drive to make sure it still drove fine, which it did, and then I set it up to get ready to work on fixing the mistake I made. I'll explain it in a second, but to be safe, I disconnected the battery so I didn't accidentally shock myself anywhere. But basically, I forgot to drill the hole for the cigarette lighter port before I wired it up. That way it can actually go through. So I disconnected all of the wires from it, which were just one negative and one positive wire, and then I ran it all the way back through to get it out so I could cut the hole. So I made a template out of tape, which seemed to work well in the past, and I set it on the best spot I could find and drilled the hole. And I tried putting it in, but it didn't quite fit, so I had to drill it a little bit bigger, and then it fit perfectly. So I blew all the fiberglass dust out, making sure not to breathe any of it in, and then tightened down the cigarette lighter port. And once it was good and tight, I got to work running the wires back through the hole and into the battery tray, which was a little difficult, but eventually I got them through and wired them back to where they were originally. I started with the ground and put the end piece on and tested it, and it was not coming off anytime soon. Then I taped it up and did the same thing to the negative. And then I took off the old giant bus bars and replaced them with these smaller ones I bought because I just had no need for them to be so huge. But I didn't love how it looked, so I flipped it around the other way so it could be tucked down in there a little bit better. And then I took the bus off the negative side, but one of the wires were way longer than they needed to be. So I shortened it down and then connected everything back together. And it looked way better without the giant old buses in.
And I do still have this reverse camera that can go on here, so let's install that.
So I bent the bracket so I could fit it on the taillight, but I didn't want to drill it in, so I just used some double-sided tape and it seemed to work great.
Oh yeah, there's the camera view. What's up? This actually looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty close to this, and it's got a pretty good like range of view. So I guess if you're parking or something, it's just like nice to have for, I don't know.
Then I zip tied one part of the wire and ran it through.
Now that everything is pretty much hooked up besides the charger, I want to make sure this thing still drives.
This thing is way too fun to drive. It makes me really not want to sell it. It's a little shaky on the inside, but it accelerates really fast. It's actually insane. It's kind of hard to tell on camera how fast it can actually accelerate, but you really feel it in there. Oh no. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, that GoPro has been through a lot. But I moved the buggy around so it would be a little easier to work on, and then I took apart the charger port.
Now we got this piece here.
The reason I took it apart is so it'd be easier to draw out the template for where I needed to cut. And after figuring it out, I drilled the holes. So as long as I cut to those 4 holes I drilled, I should be good.
Okay, I'm very nervous for this because I'm not too great with this tool, so let's see how it goes.
I cut it out, but I had to take breaks in between every cut because I couldn't hold my breath for too long, and the fiberglass was smoking a little bit, but drilling those 4 holes so I knew where to cut made it way easier.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
So I blew out all the fiberglass dust and then drilled the 4 holes where the screws would go into.
Oh yeah, that is perfect.
It is a tiny bit crooked, but I think that's okay. It's not too bad. And while I was blowing out the last bit of dust, I noticed my workspace was really messy, so I cleaned it up as good as I could. Finally found the instructions to my battery monitor.
Okay, it should be good now. I still need to get the correct hardware to install this because it only came with screws and I need bolts and nuts. But you may have noticed this chain is super rusty. So I'm gonna try to use some of this rust dissolver just to make it look a little bit better.
I've used this stuff once before and it worked pretty well. So I just made sure to get it all over the chain and not on any of the paint.
So I think I just gotta let it sit for a bit and we'll see. It's already looking way better, actually.
But the sprocket still looked really bad and it had these weird stains in it. So I found some brake cleaner and sanded off the sprocket as best as I could. And then also used the brake cleaner to try to get all the stains out of it, which seemed to work pretty well.
I let it sit overnight and this chain looks really good. It looks way better than it did before. I got some hardware for this charger port, so let's put it in.
So I slid it in, and it's so nice when things just fit perfectly. I tightened down all the bolts, and it looked really good.
This thing is solid and it's really cool. Just opens up, closes, protects it from water and stuff.
Then I did the scary process of disconnecting the battery so I could wire the charging port directly to it. Up to this point, everything was working perfectly fine, so I don't know if this was something I shouldn't have done, but at the time I forgot to test to see if everything was even working.
Never have to do that again. That is way too scary. Now let's make this look a lot better.
I bought a bunch of wire housing, so I basically just put it on any open wires that just didn't look too great, and then I got some zip tie bracket thingies with double stick tape so I could secure the wire for the dash cam.
But now I gotta sort this mess.
And this is where things start to go bad. I was basically just taking all the wires and putting them into one tube, and I don't know if I cut one or wrecked something while doing that, but I realized I needed to test to make sure everything was still working. And when I did, nothing would turn on except for the screen.
Well, now it's not working.
And then I saw the cigarette lighter adapter for the screen was smoking, so I unplugged it.
What did I just do? Probably just fried this. It smells like burning. This is not good. I don't know what I just did. Oh, man.
And just to be safe, I disconnected the battery because I didn't want to wreck anything else.
Well, guys, I don't know. I might have just fried literally everything. I have no clue. Smoke was coming from the cigarette lighter thing.
But yeah, the horn doesn't work, the lights don't work, the fan doesn't do anything, so I don't know what the deal is.
The only thing I added was the charging port, so I don't know if that messed something up. I did it directly to the battery, but now I might have just ruined everything. So, yeah. But don't worry, even though this is a pretty big setback, I'm not gonna give up that easy. The battery is already disconnected, so now I'm pretty much just gonna go through and look at all the wires and see if I can find anything. Oh, I see. I found something.
It was a disconnected ground wire.
And I'm like 99% sure it was connected to this wire.
So I got to work stripping the wires, and I was about to connect them when this happened.
It's like an electric vehicle thingy, like a, I don't know what you call it, it's called a bug-E.
Oh, okay.
And after explaining what it was to that guy, I reconnected the ground wire, and then I did a couple layers of tape around it.
All right, let's plug that in, see if it works.
But before testing it, I still had to reconnect the battery, which is always my least favorite thing.
Hopefully that's the last time I ever have to do this. That would be nice. Let's see if this thing works. First key on. Okay, nothing's happened yet.
And after looking around a little bit, I realized
Still nothing works. Huh, weird.
So I realized I must have missed something, so I started just checking all the wires I could. And I was mostly just making sure I didn't accidentally pull any of the wires out, and that's when I found it.
Well, there's another problem.
The wire to the 12-volt converter got pulled out.
That could be the problem. Let's hope it is.
So I disconnected the battery again because I didn't want to shock myself. And then I took the old connector off of the wire, and luckily I had the same one. And when I connected the battery, I noticed,
oh, there's a spark now. That's good. That might have been the problem.
And then I tightened it down, hopefully for the last time. And then I went and turned the power key on, and
yes, dude. Is the fan turn on? Yes. Yep, we got lights, blinkers, everything. Okay, finally. Now, hopefully the screen works.
I tried a few things, but it just wouldn't work.
That is not turning on.
So I brought an external power bank just to see if it would turn on normally.
Did I seriously fry another screen? Oh no, I didn't. Okay.
But yeah, this seemed to be the problem was in the port itself. And when I tested it with this little tester thing, I didn't see any power.
No power from that. So it seems like that port is fried. I did check the fuse and it was fine, but before I fixed all this, it was literally smoking. So I ordered a new one, and I think replacing it should fix everything. But this is still a huge mess, so I want to make it all look really nice.
And even though the new port isn't installed yet, I can still make the wires look really nice because they are out of the way. So I basically just put them all into this tube thing, and then I took these wire mount thingies and put them on and used some zip ties to hold it up all the way. And then I just put some more tubing on these smaller wires, and I put a big tube over all the big wires here, and I basically just repeated that process, just putting tubes over anything I thought would look good. I even tried putting it over the handlebars, but it just looked kind of weird, so I decided to take it off.
Well, it is looking really good, but I've just been really unlucky. Now the horn does that, it like doesn't even work, and the lights don't work either now. The blinkers, brake light, fan, all that stuff works fine. But before I fix any of those problems, I'm gonna hook up the charger port really quick. So hopefully I don't need to touch the battery anymore, because that'd be nice.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure if the charger port was the reason it wasn't working before, but I had to test it. So I turned the key and it seemed to be fine.
Okay, everything that was working still works.
Then I took it for a quick drive just to make sure it drove good, which it still did.
Still drives fine, that's good. I'm not gonna lie, I am tired of working on the electrical side of stuff. So instead I'm gonna work on fixing this.
There are these two huge like chips, and they just looked really bad in my opinion. And the other problem was,
it has no grip. If I put my MP3 player in here, it just slides around. So I'm gonna use this Bondo to fill the holes, and then I got this truck bed liner.
So I started by using a wet rag to wipe everything down really good, and then I took some tape and put it over the edge, just so when I was sanding I wouldn't scratch the already good paint. And then I started sanding. It was mostly just a light sand, so I'd be able to put the Bondo in good. And after wiping off all the dust, I got out the Bondo stuff, which I had never used before.
Once I put this in, I've got 4 minutes, it sounds like.
So I put it in and then just went for it. I've never used this stuff before, so I put a lot of extra material just to make sure I didn't mess up. And yeah, it looked pretty bad. So I tried adding a little bit more to it.
Well, it didn't turn out great, that's for sure. But I think it'll work. I mean, for my first attempt, it's not bad. So hopefully I can sand it all down, but if not, I can always do another coat.
Yeah, it looked really bad. But hopefully after sanding it, it'll turn out a lot better.
Okay, I've let it dry overnight. I'll probably have to do another coat, but let's sand this and figure it out.
But my hope was after sanding it, it would look a lot better. So I started sanding it, and my biggest concern was that I actually didn't have enough material on there. But luckily, it looked pretty good. Because the paint's so chunky, it's gonna be hard to tell anyways. This is actually a perfect first test. And then when I was taking off the tape, I realized,
oh no, look at what it did to the canopy. Oh man, I think it's only on the inside, but it got disgusting.
And then I lightly sanded the inside part of the container just so it would be easier for the paint to stick. But now that the sanding was all done, I took it outside.
Now hopefully some of this dust will come out.
I tried just using the leaf blower to start, but it didn't get everything, so I had to use a cloth. After a bit of work, it seemed to be a lot better. But then I broke my microphone transmitter because I dropped my camera, so that was nice. And then I just started masking everything. And again, I really enjoy masking, but it definitely takes a while. If you guys have any tips, please let me know. I also took off the canopy because I really didn't want to get paint on it, and then finally was done masking. But the painting was actually kind of crazy how it worked. You have to shake the can for 2 minutes, and then once you've painted for a minute, you have to shake it for another 2 minutes. But luckily, it was a small area, and after letting it dry for 10 minutes, I just gave it another coat, and it was pretty good.
All right, let's see how this looks. I'm pretty nervous. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous for this.
That looks pretty good so far. Wow, that looks so good. It's definitely not perfect. You can kind of see it goes up there a little bit, but this side definitely looks good. I am very happy with how that turned out. And for my first body work kind of thing, I'd say it's not bad. Oh, and with the seat in, that's gonna look great.
I forgot to film it, but I added this weatherproof foam stripping stuff.
But I think this looks really good. Thank you guys for the recommendation. It looks way better now. But now I've got to figure out why these headlights won't work.
So my first thought was it would be in this big bunch of wires. So I took it all apart, and when I looked inside, I didn't really see anything wrong. So I looked lower in the bunch of wires, and after taking it apart, I found something. Basically, a plug just came unplugged, so I plugged it back in, and the lights worked great. And it seemed like it wouldn't come unplugged again. So I put the tubes back on and taped everything back up.
I just got a new cigarette lighter port, so hopefully I can replace it and that screen will work.
So I disconnected the battery again, and then started disconnecting all the old wires that the cigarette port before was connected to, and pulled it through.
Nice.
And then I just kept pulling the wires all the way through, and I unscrewed it and took it out. Then I took the new one and pushed it all the way through, and of course it fit great because it's the same one. And then I just pulled all the wires all the way through to where the battery was, and then started reconnecting all the wires in the exact same places, which was pretty easy. It did take me like an hour, but eventually,
okay, it should all be hooked up.
So I reconnected the battery and then plugged in the screen to the port.
Okay, I am nervous. In theory, once I turn this key, the screen should turn on. Please work.
Yeah, again, it would just not turn on. And the fuse looked fine, but I realized,
so I guess it's this thing must be fried because now the light won't even turn on. So that's weird.
So I tried testing it with a different one.
So it is working because it's charging my battery. So it must be this thing's fault. Yeah, I really should test things before I just rip them out and replace them. But now that I know everything works, I'm gonna make the wires look really good.
So I tested a few different wires I had to make sure they'd power the screen correctly. And after finding the correct one, I put it in and then finalized all the wires. Basically just putting the tubes on and taping them up really good. I tried my best to make everything look good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but at the very least, it was all out of the way, which was really nice. Then I took some of the foam stripping stuff and put it on the interior. I just thought it would look nice, and it kind of protects your knees from getting bumped. But it was still a mess in my workplace, so I cleaned it all up. I did grab one of these to temporarily plug in the screen, and as you can see, it works, turns on.
But now I just gotta clean up the wires underneath and I will finally be done with the wiring, hopefully.
So this time I was extra careful not to accidentally pull any of the wires out. And because I did so much last episode, there really wasn't much more to do.
So I did install this speedometer, but it hasn't been super reliable. So I bought this new one and it actually connects to the satellites so I can tell how fast you're going. Hopefully this will work well. We'll have to test it.
So I took off the old one, which was just 2 zip ties, so it was pretty easy, and then unboxed the new one.
Oh yeah, that is gonna look awesome.
Putting it on was pretty simple. well as just these 2 rubber band type things. Simple as that. I definitely prefer the look of the other one, but this one should work way better. So let's test this out and see if it actually works. I'm curious. So I put the canopy back on just because it'd be more fun to have it on. And when driving, it seemed to actually work pretty well.
Oh yeah, it seems to be working.
I'm not really sure how accurate it is, but it seems to be good enough. While I was driving this around, I did notice the brakes work, just not that well. So I think I can just adjust them. There are adjustment things on the handlebars too, but it seemed to be easier just to do it directly from the wheel. Oh yeah, that is way better. So I did it to the other side too, which did take a little bit longer. I basically just kept moving the metal string until it was in the perfect spot. Okay, much better. This parking brake's kind of weird because sometimes I can pull it and it works, but like here, it just won't go. So I tried using a can of stuff that's supposed to help with this, but it seemed like the wire just would not go through. So I kept moving it around, and when trying to adjust the brake, I realized the brake itself must have something wrong with it. So I tried fixing it, but I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So I just kept trying different things, but then I tried putting the can of stuff on the actual handle itself, and that seemed to fix it. Huh, now it works. Then I removed the old sensor for the old speedometer, but the paint got all scratched up again. So I took it outside and painted a few parts that also didn't look too great, and then touched it up using some cardboard, and then did the same to the inside of the battery tray. Okay, this thing is looking great now, except for this big white piece down here. I never really properly polished it before. I did a little bit, but it just didn't look too good, so I wanted to make sure it looked perfect. So I started by just using some compound and getting all the dirt and grime out of it, and then I took the ceramic coating and put it in, and that's when things really started to look good. Okay, now that everything's pretty much done, I can finally put the seat on. But the brackets for it are still rusty and nasty, so I bought these new ones, and we should be good to mount this all up. So I took the old brackets off of the seat, and then started figuring out where I wanted the new ones. I should actually be putting this on the seat first so they're straight. I don't know if it actually matters which one I put it on first, but it seemed to be easier using the seat. So I measured everything out and then drilled the holes for it. Hopefully that's correct. And after putting the bolt in, it seemed to line up pretty good. So I flipped the seat over and then did the same thing for the other side, making sure to measure everything, and it also seemed to line up very well. And then I brought the seat over to figure out where I wanted it. Sweet. Then I tried figuring out where I wanted to put the seat, and I thought I found the perfect spot. All right, I think I have the spots, but there's really no way of knowing until I drill it out. So hopefully everything still lines up. And while I was drilling, I realized I should probably check to make sure everything's good. Oh no. Forgot to check under here. 12-volt converter is right underneath this. So I found a new spot for the seat to go, but because of that 12-volt converter, it just had to be pushed back a little ways, and I had to drill 2 more holes. Okay, we should be good. Just to be safe, I'm gonna prop this up. But after carefully propping it up and drilling the holes, nice. All right, let's see if this thing fits. Yeah, I was pretty nervous for this. It fits so far. Now, will it slide? Oh yeah, this is all the way back, and it definitely is pushed back quite a ways, but I had to do it this way, otherwise I would have hit that thing, so. And then I took all the bolts and nuts and put them on and tightened it down good. Okay, it should be mounted now. And then I also took the seat cover and put it back on the seat. I haven't sat in this thing in over a month with the seat on, I guess. Oh yeah, dude. That's so nice. Oh yeah, but if you listen, the horn doesn't quite sound right. So I guess I got it pretty straight. It looks straight on there, so. But now I gotta fix that horn. So this thing right here is the horn. I think it's getting power and everything, but it's like just not going. So I tried just fixing it where it already was without taking it off. I just couldn't figure it out, so I decided I had to get it off. Oh, finally. It's like these 2 screw things. I don't know what they do though. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I tried changing the length of the screws, and after a lot of testing, it started to sound a little bit better. But I just couldn't get it to sound right. Well, I think I'm probably just gonna have to buy a new one, but I might as well open it up and try to see if there's anything on the inside. I tried opening it up, but it just would not come apart. I did just order a replacement horn, but 2 really exciting things just came. Got this adapter for the cigarette lighter port. Pops in, and then we can plug the screen in. And when I turn it on, the screen should also turn on any second now. Yep, there we go. And then this is really exciting because it's actually a license plate mounting bracket thing. This is just a leftover plate I have. It's not like the official one for this. So now whoever buys this will be able to actually put their own license plate on the back of this thing. So I took it and tried to line it up as best I could. And I took some tape and put it in the back, which allowed me to mark where to drill and would also protect the fiberglass from cracking. So I drilled both sides through.
Okay, let's see if this fits.
And after putting both the bolts in,
Oh yeah, that looks great.
so I took the nuts and tightened them all the way down and also put the license plate on, and
Oh yeah, that is so awesome.
it looks super cool, but it is a little bit blocked by that light, which might be a problem, but I don't really have anything I can do about it. So it's good enough for now.
Okay, so now everything except for the horn is done. But the last thing I haven't tested out yet is the charger. The port is in, it's all ready to be charged, but I just haven't done it yet. I think I gotta give it a try and just see what happens. So before I plug it in, we can see it's at 38% battery. I'm a little nervous, but I did order this charger like specifically for this battery. Fuse is in, lights are ready. Okay, it's the fan kicked on, and that means it's charging. It all smells fine so far. I'll let it charge for a couple minutes and we'll see if it changes the percentage.
While it was charging, I made sure nothing was super hot or smelled weird. And luckily, it seemed to be working perfectly fine.
Let's see if it did anything. Okay, it's at 40 now. All right, I'm just gonna let this charge a little bit longer.
And same thing here. I just wanted to make sure everything was working good because I really don't want this to mess the battery up.
Today is a very special day. If this horn works, then I'm done. I've been working on this thing for the past like 2 months. So this is a pretty big deal for me. So let's just hope this works.
And when I took the horn out of the box, I realized
This is like the exact same horn. That's crazy.
And so I took the two wires, which actually fit on it perfectly, and connected them where I thought they were supposed to go.
Okay, moment of truth. Oh yeah, that is loud.
And then I tried putting it on the bracket where the old horn was.
It doesn't quite reach to get onto that bracket. I think if I put it on this one like this, it would be facing down, but I think it'll work fine because it's really loud.
Yeah, it's probably not supposed to go on this bolt, but I don't think it's really going to hurt anything because it's just a thin piece of metal.
Okay, that should work.
And then I unscrewed the old bracket, but
Definitely messed up a little paint, but at least that's out now. Now we have... Oh, that does not sound right. I think I'm gonna flip it around the other way so it's pointing forwards, and then it should be a lot better.
yeah, I don't know why it sounded like that, but it must be because it was touching on the metal.
Okay, it does not get in the way, so we should be good like that.
So I tightened it all the way down and it seemed to be good.
Now it fits in nicely, isn't in the way of everything, and hopefully it'll sound normal now. All right, please sound normal. Yeah, that sounds fine. So now, for real, every electrical thing is done. So this seat looks all right like this, but if you slide it forward a bit, you see these two ugly holes.
So I took these little plastic caps and tried putting them in, but pretty much none of them were fitting until I found the perfect one.
Well, that's the best I'm gonna get. And it is pretty much covered up anyways, so. So finally, after 2 months of working on this thing, it's done. There's nothing else to do. I can't believe it.
Or so I thought. I completely forgot I have to clean everything. So I started by using a leaf blower and getting all the loose stuff out. And once that was done, I noticed the seat looked really bad. So I tried polishing it and it actually seemed to make it look way better. I even gave it a ceramic coating.
Look at how much better that looks. That's insane.
Then I used this black trim restorer and I just put it on all the plastic and rubber pieces I had and it helped a lot. But the seat was still dirty, so I used this interior cleaner and it smelled exactly like a car wash. Then after wiping down the canopy, I was done.
Okay, now this thing is pretty much as clean as I'm gonna get it. So I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures of all the stuff, and then when the sunset happens, I'll get some really cool pictures.
Here's a few of the pictures I took. I did take like over 100, but I'm obviously not going to show them all. But I think they turned out pretty good.
So how am I going to sell this thing? I got a bunch of awesome pictures, but I'm gonna try selling it 3 different ways. First, Facebook Marketplace. I mean, it could work, but it is kind of the lower end side of things, I guess. But while it's for sale on Facebook, I'll try to get it onto an auction. That way, if it doesn't sell, I have this backup plan, but it takes a couple weeks. But then my final idea. This is Doug DeMiro. He's a famous car reviewer guy, and I think he would love the buggy. So what happens is people give him their cars, and he'll review it, and then sometimes they put it on Cars and Bids, which is his auction website, and they usually sell for way more. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I'll let everyone know how it goes as soon as possible. But yeah, that's it. So, it's been a couple weeks. I sent quite a few emails to Doug DeMiro and he didn't respond to any of them. So somehow we got it on a bring a trailer auction. It's gonna last for 7 days, but I did decide to make it a no reserve, which could make it more exciting and more people would want to bid. But if we don't get many bids, it could literally sell for $100.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous about this. And the next 6 days went by really fast.
Oh man.
And before I knew it was auction day.
Okay, there's less than half an hour left and we're at 1,800. And just to remind you, we have to get to $2,250 to break even. Oh boy.
So yeah, 3 months of hard work all came down to this.
Oh, we just got another bid. Dude, okay.
That definitely boosted my confidence slightly, but
I'm so nervous.
And then I basically sat around and waited and watched as all my time ticked down.
Oh, 2,000, new person, what? Dude.
And before I even knew it,
60 minutes. That's nuts. Come on, light, turn, okay. 2,200! Is this a new person? Yeah, this is a brand new person. 2,200, dude. What is happening? Dude, this is crazy. We've basically broken even now on profit. This is crazy. We're down to the wire though, 7 minutes left. 2,300. Oh, it's a bid war. It's a bidding war. Let's go.
But before I even knew it, we were still at no new bids, and we're at
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Under the 4 minute mark. 3 minutes, 59 seconds. We're at 2 minutes. 2 minutes left. Somebody please start bidding. We need more bids.
Now, don't get me wrong, $2,300 is still a $100 profit, but I did not just spend 3 months fixing this thing for $100.
2,400. 2,400. 2 minutes. The timer is going down. So from now on, if someone bids, the timer resets back to 2 minutes. But if no one bids and it goes down to 0, it's over. 2,600. 2,600. This is nuts, dude. This is crazy.
And then something weird started happening.
2,800. Dude. Oh. 3,000. 3,000.
I just kept getting bids.
Oh, another bid? 3,500. What? Oh, 3,600. 3,600. Oh, another bid. 3,700. This is a bidding war. I mean, what else could this be?
And I honestly just couldn't believe it.
This is 3,900. Are we gonna hit 4,000? This is already so much better than we thought. Let's get some more. 4,000. 4,000.
I could not believe we were at 4,000. We were literally at half of that a couple minutes ago. And I was beginning to think this was a bad idea, but now all I could say was...
What? 4,000? What is happening? 4,200. Oh, man. That might be it, though. I don't know if he's gonna go over that. That might be it. Oh, 4,500. $4,500. $4,500 for this? I mean... 4,700! 4,700! What is happening right now, guys? Is this real? Are these fake bids? That is 4,800! It just keeps going up. They just keep going. That's gotta be it, right? 5,000. We just got 5,000. What? What is even happening, guys? $5,000. That's gotta be it though, right? Surely they don't go above 5,100. What? I know it seemed too good to be true with that timing, but I promise none of this is staged. I just got like crazy lucky with saying that. Why are they still going? 5,300! What is happening? I feel like I'm gonna pass out right now. So much work has gone into this and it's paid off so much. Final minute, here we go. I think that's it. I think we're gonna sell it for 5,300. There we go. 40 seconds until I don't own this thing anymore. Oh, that's crazy. 30, 29, oh, it's over. That's crazy, $5,000.
In my brain, the auction had already ended, even though technically there's still 26 seconds left. But honestly, all I could think about was how I was feeling the night before. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to feel nervous about this. I'm worried because I did no reserve. I'm not gonna get much for it. Oh man, I've put too much work in to not make a profit. That would suck. But even though I was feeling that way, I decided there's not much I can do about it anyways, so worrying about it is not gonna solve anything. And it's a good thing I didn't worry about it and cancel the auction, because a second later...
Oh, 5,400, new person? 5,400? I thought that was over, I thought that was it. Why is there another bid? 5,600! What is happening? What is happening? I thought that was it. That has to be it. Right? It doesn't go over 5,000, surely. 5,700. Oh man, this is absolute. 5,900. Are we gonna hit $6,000? We were at $1,000 this morning, and we're at 6,000. $6,000. What is happening? 6,200. 6,200. This isn't even real. This isn't even real. What? $6,200. What? Oh, that has to be it. There's no way there's any more than that. That's a great way to end an auction right there.
And before I knew it, we were at the last 10 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sold for $6,200. Oh, dude. Is this even real? $6,000. Wow. Did not expect that. Oh, man. I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe we got to $6,200. Wow. That is insane. Out of all the skills I learned throughout this video, I think the most valuable one is to not give up, even when things get really hard. So please, if you ever feel like giving up on something, just know that it can always get better. I ended up with about $4,415.48 in profit. Here's the math if you don't believe me. Just like that, it's gone. I also want to give a huge thank you to everyone who made this possible. My dad, my uncle, and all of you guys watching. I could not have done this without any of you guys' help. So thank you so much.